nicely. These are very small heats. We just have 3 boats in this first race. And then in the second heat, we only have 2 boats. So the strategy here is to essentially race for lanes again, but across 2 separate heats. So these boats will be comparing times after the finish. And in this first heat, we're looking at Northwestern rowing out of lane 3, UC Irvine in lane 4, and Purdue in lane 6. And indeed, it is right down the center of the course. UC Irvine with the lead right now, looking at about a 2-seat of open water advantage over Purdue. Purdue with a bit of open water over Northwestern. So all boats approaching the first 500 gone. All right, and UC Irvine continuing to hold on to the lead here in this men's lightweight novice 4. Great program out of Southern California. UC Irvine, the Anteaters, probably one of my favorite mascots in all of rowing. Maybe only followed by the UCSC Banana Slug, as we were talking about earlier. UCSC not with the rowing team, but we were talking about mascots earlier, and gotta love the Anteaters. And really, that must be a fast animal because they are way out in front now. Boat length of open water for them. Got them clocked at about 32 strokes a minute. Again, holding a lead over Purdue. Purdue at a slightly more elevated stroke rate, 34 strokes a minute, and then behind them it will be Northwestern. Yesterday, I had a chance to talk to the Purdue coaches, and really one of these programs that has a storied legacy of excellence, again, showing that here. They really didn't skip a beat over COVID, held on to their numbers. They have quite a bit of true freshmen, lots of novices on this team, and proving that they are one of the best programs in the country. Continuing to do a great job here as these boats race for good placement in the grand final. So, Whitney, as a coxswain at the 1,000-meter line, with a boat race that's this spread out, knowing that they are going to advance to the grand final, what would be going through your head? What would you be telling your crews at this point?
You know, that is a really good question. And if I was pretty confident that I was going to be crossing the line in a qualifying position, and again, very confident, I would want to make sure that we finish the row in a strong position. Technically, honestly, just have a good strong row, keep the rhythm going. I might not even call up a sprint, but just kind of emulate it a little bit in my voice and just kind of talk them through it, almost like a time trial to the end to kind of keep them focused, keep them strong, keep them in it, because a race is not over until you cross the line. Anything could happen. So you absolutely want to keep their heads in the game and just kind of keep things going through that second 1,000 and maybe simulate a finish.
Absolutely. So really at this point, it's all about execution.
Absolutely.
And these coaches really, quite experienced. They know how to bring their crews to the right point at the right time in the season. And right now, UC Irvine proving that they have really solidified their spring season with a good showing here. 500 meters to go for them, and now 500 meters to go for Purdue. And then here comes Northwestern, back behind the two top boats, doing quite well, just not quite able to match the pace of these top two boats. But again, like we talked about, this is about execution. This is about putting together the best piece that you can at this point in the season. And then when they come down the race course again in the grand final, improving upon that.
Yeah, and this UCI program that you were talking about is actually on my home water in sunny Southern California, headed up by AJ Brooks, which is also a very accomplished rower from Washington, won Youth Nationals himself. There's a lot of history in this UCI program. So they may be called the Anteaters, which you actually don't see very many of in Southern California. So it is an interesting mascot, especially on the water. But we do have a great place to row here in Newport, and we are spoiled with some pretty good water. And again, another program with a very strong history of Olympians. A lot of well-known names in rowing have gone to UCI and have rowed on this water. So it is a well-supported, well-loved team as we come into the finish here.
All right, and here they come. Final about 100 meters here right now for Irvine. Again, doing a nice job executing their race plan. It will be their bow first across the line, followed by Purdue. And from our vantage point, man, those coxswains really going for it. This is the blind fury of novice rowing. So when you can hear the coxswain all the way at the finish line tower, that is an intense crew.
It is very exciting to hear these novice coxswains get so enthusiastic.
Okay, UC Irvine and Purdue across the line, and then finishing their final strokes here, Northwestern. Moving over to the second heat of the men's lightweight novice 4. Right now we only have 2 boats on the course that will be coming down at us in lane 3 and 4, so those center lanes. It's going to be Texas in lane 3, and then University of Rhode Island in lane 4. We'll be back with the race call in just a few minutes. All right, we've got 2 boats on the course. This is a dual race, Henley style, as we come down and just approaching 500 meters. We had both boats really close to each other for those just after the start. They were dead even for quite some time, and then Texas, as they settled into their base rate, seemed to take a little bit more in terms of composure, in terms of swing. They have done a really nice job moving themselves away from University of Rhode Island, but there's still contact. So bow to stern advantage right now for Texas over URI. And as we come down the race course, we'll give you updates here, but a dual race is really, again, it's another strategy altogether. When you've got 7 boats on the course, you're really looking at positioning, jockeying for those qualifying spots. But right here, both of these crews know that they're moving on to a grand final. So again, it's a race for lanes, and not quite sure what their strategy is. Maybe they want to hold on to a little bit of energy and just, put down a good piece. And right now, Texas doing a good job with that, and now with a bit of open water for them over University of Rhode Island. All right, and really not much has changed here in terms of positioning between Texas and URI. Texas still out in front with maybe about 2 to 3 seats of open water. And URI right there in that same position. They're really, again, Texas hasn't walked away. URI with a slightly elevated stroke rating, I'd say, 37 in the smaller boats and a 4, which is, pretty heavy boat. That can be maybe a bit of a high stroke rate. So hopefully they can hold on to it, still hold on to their spacing, maybe even take away a little bit of the lead that Texas had. But right now, nothing's changing. Texas is right there, maybe just pacing themselves and holding off URI.
Yeah, we do have a little bit of a stalemate here. They are kind of holding their positions as is. Nobody has really made a change yet on that stroke rating. So I guess we'll see if somebody decides to make a move here. If we're either going to have a comfortable lead or if we're going to have a challenge coming into the last 500.
Yeah, hard to say again what the strategy is. I'm sure as the coach sent them off of the dock and they went out to contest this piece, I'm guessing that there's a lot of conservation of energy that's required. Would you agree?
Absolutely. Absolutely. So sometimes the fun of this is that we see a crew come out of nowhere and have a fantastic sprint. So you never really know what that trailing boat is going to do. So you never want to get comfortable as the lead boat. So even though they have this pretty commanding position now, they also aren't really walking away. So we could see a change. You never know.
And with the unpredictability of novice rowing, I think that's especially true. You never really know
Absolutely.
what's going to happen.
And the fun of lightweights too. With lightweights are unpredictable. They're fun. They're fast. You never know. And it looks like we have a crab here.
Here we go. There we go. That's the unpredictability. Texas with holding on to that strong lead, but here at 1,500 meters, a little bit of technical difficulty for them. Like a crab, that's gonna pull them back about a length. So as URI, maybe they look across and say, "Oh, let's take advantage of that."
Absolutely. They're going to have to kind of get back from being a little bit flustered from that and see if they can take back their lead. And I don't know. This is looking pretty good. They are getting challenged here now.
We can hear the spectators down on the shoreline cheering on their team. And I'm sure that little bit of a bobble really bolstered URI as they attempt to pull even with Texas. And from our vantage point, almost maybe with a slight lead now over Texas, just barely. And so here we go, final 250 meters here for the second heat of the men's lightweight novice 4. Not much excitement in the first 1,500 meters of this race. And then now here we are, we've got a boat race on our hands. We're laughing here at the finish line tower because that was one beep. So, in a 2-boat race, you generally don't predict that it's going to be that close. But those boats both came across the line at the same time. And